these Learning Story Slams is really to take a little bit of time as educators, as folks that work in the community, to reflect on our own experiences in learning. So, to get going, I will start with my own powerful learning experience. It was actually something that I used to do with my mom.
It reminded me of something that happened to me in high school.
In August of 2005.
And the one I want to talk about today is my 9th grade English teacher.
In 2nd grade, I had a teacher, and she had been my favorite teacher.
Rewind back to circa 1970. And I remember this one time.
Well, when I was working in Pearland,
I was in 2nd grade, and I don't know how many of you have had a little girl, but little girls like to start things on the playground with other little girls. And they do things like say, he doesn't like you, he likes me, and she didn't want to play with you, she wants to play with me, and they make their little cliques, and they do all this. And as we were kind of creating this soap opera on the playground every day, it escalated and escalated until little girls were crying, and there were all these splits and divisions, and my teacher was paying very close attention to all of it. And she didn't just let it go, like kids will be kids. It really affected her. And she did this beautiful, simple little demonstration for the class, which I'll never forget. Without calling anyone out, she didn't name any names. She was about to start a lesson, and she pulled out this paper heart that she had cut out of a piece of paper. And she held it up, and she said, inside each one of us is feelings. We feel good about ourselves sometimes, we feel bad about ourselves sometimes. We feel love, we feel anger, we feel fear, and she kind of talked to the class about feelings. And she said, and this is what makes us who we are as people. And so we're all listening, and she goes, now, if someone turns to you and says, I think you're ugly, it hurts our feelings. And she put a little crease in the heart. And then she said, if someone says, you smell funny, put a little crease. You're not very smart. She started saying all these things that we were kind of saying to each other on the playground. And she kept folding the heart. And then she goes, well, what if somebody says, I don't like you? And she did this. And she held it in her hand like this. And we're looking, and right then we all knew. Everybody in the room felt like she's talking about me. Because I had done that. And she goes, you can try to make it better. You can say I'm sorry. You can try to smooth everything over. And you might get them to feel good about themselves again. But all those little creases are still there. And she took the paper heart. She took a thumbtack. She plugged it up on the bulletin board in front of the whole class. And then she just started her lesson. We were all like, and at that moment, in 2nd grade, I had made a conscious decision. I did not want to be responsible for damaging someone else. I did not want to be involved in making someone feel any less of a person or be that person that put a crease in their heart.
He actually encouraged that creativity. He actually encouraged that outlet. And that was really important to me. And I remember that to this day.
Dorothy could have just let me go on about my day, but she did not do that.
he taught me a lot about kids.
She showed me unconditional love, and I really learned so much from that experience.
I remember from seeing that, what was just kind of going to go see a play with my mom, I think really shook me all the way to my core.
One of those experiences where you have that sort of aha moment and you realize you've learned something about life.
Like boom, it just hit me, it all came together.
Everybody has this amazing story. Everyone has this whole life.
I'm from the Acres Homes community, if anybody knows where Acres Homes is. And we know that that is an urban community. And I went to Maple B West Elementary School where Dr. Thaddeus Lott was our principal. And I remember in 3rd through 5th grade, I had a teacher, her name was Miss Lorraine Killian. And we were the first group of students to come out of Wesley to be part of the DISTAR learning. Does anybody remember DISTAR learning? That's where the smart kids were. And I was part of the smart kids in the Acres Home community, where they really didn't expect for us to do much, just maybe high school and that's it or whatever. But what I remember about this teacher is she exposed me to so much culture, so much the museum district. I've never been down here to the museum district. I've never went to the Renaissance Festival. I've never went to a baseball game or a football game. I've never went anywhere outside of the Acres Homes community. And I also went to different marathon runs. I went to City Hall. I went to Austin. I went to all kinds of places that my parents could not afford to take me to. And I really appreciate this teacher to this day because she exposed me to so much. It allowed me as a teacher to expose my students to things that their parents can do. So I bring things on the outside. Since we work in neighborhood centers, we can't take them anywhere, but we bring things on the outside into the classroom. And that's one thing I do with my kids. I educate my kids on things that they don't see every day. And I ask them to bring me pictures of places that they go so we can talk about it so they can share their experiences with me. And I really appreciate my 3rd through 5th grade teacher for exposing me to the world.
And what I learned is, when you think you've lost everything, you've lost nothing.
I learned instead of getting frustrated with someone if they don't understand what I'm trying to teach them or explain to them, I just need to do something different.
And so that's my learning story, is to always think about everybody as an actual individual with their own story and their own experiences. And I feel like that helps me appreciate everyone around me.
There was never going to be a dull moment working with young children.
And I remember that being a really impactful lesson because it was kind of a non-traditional way to teach how to think outside the box and how to approach a situation in a different light.
You could be that one person that years down the road that you're their hook. You're the reason why they're doing what they're doing.
It was in those experiences that I believe really laid the foundation for the work that I'm preparing to do as a counselor.
Sometimes it's not the person or the people we learn from, but the experience.
So that's my story of powerful learning.